Life coach right now in today's time is someone that assists you with your choices and decisions, right? Me, myself, I was totally against that. I believe that people don't need to be assisted with their life. They need to take ownership of their life. So that's kind of what sparked the book, I Am My Life Coach. So it started out with me coaching myself and understanding what accountability and responsibility is. And that's just removing the expectations off of everyone else and putting it back on yourself. So actually, I Am My Life Coach is a self-affirmation. So as a life coach, life coaches, again, assist people, but as a transformation coach is the route that I took and what I continue to study and what I look to focus more of my interest on is the transformation, going from one point to another, going from the bottom to the top, it's the butterfly effect, going from the caterpillar, understanding the role as a caterpillar, understanding what comes with being a caterpillar, and then recognizing in your transformation, right, which is your time of being still inside of the cocoon, how do you handle well with that process? That's the holding pattern. Then understanding the role of the butterfly, the expectations of being accountable, the expectations of being responsible. Now you're flying where? Flying to where you want to go in life. This thing is really on you at this particular point, but you just don't go from a caterpillar straight to a butterfly. There has to be a transformation. Many people lose this point. They lose it because we want to just automatically be there and don't want to go through the process that help us to get there. So I chose this particular route to stand in as a transformation coach, and that's just to help people along the way as they help themselves. Where is to be present. And that's how I look to go the alternate route. The alternate route is just taking a different approach to why you don't have the things you should have in life. So that's the tangible thing. Once you become aware by manifesting who you are, then you resemble whom you are. Now you can use all this experience that you have experienced by getting your answers wrong and not being able to succeed in the things that you set out to accomplish. When you stop looking for when you stop looking at the results, the results is you just have not accomplished those things. Now you have to look back at the manufacturer. You have to look back at the system. Why am I not successful in accomplishing what I set out to do? It has to be an alternate route, which is called self-realization. Mm-hmm. So now that I recognize that the issue is really me, I'm not equipped, I'm not educated enough about myself. Now I'm becoming more, that's really a process called self-manifestation. So now I'm more present and I'm more available to the things that I'm looking for now. Now I know exactly what to say as well as what not to say. And that's the results that you receive in life. Absolutely. It's an inside job. And what I like to do in the route that I like to take people is to examine self. So becoming self-aware allows you to be present. And then at that point, you recognize that your culture and your community is what shaped what shaped your environment. Now that your choices and decisions and the things that you set out to do, your environment wasn't healthy enough. It didn't have what you needed in order to get what it is you desire. So we have a problem dealing with the culture as well as the customs that goes with the culture that creates the community that you're involved in. And now you're setting out in life doing things, but you're unsuccessful because you don't have the substance to sustain. You don't have the substance. You don't have enough of the information that goes with whatever it is that you're trying to produce. The culture, when I say the culture is a mentality. It's a mindset. And in this mindset, it's not a physical person. It's not black or white. Mm-hmm. It's recognizing the customs that goes with whatever the act that you attempted to do. It's like feeling like you want to be married, but how have you practiced? How have you rehearsed? What have you done? Don't tell me about looking at the Cosby Show or what you seen your parents perform in front of you. You have to look at what practice did you do? Mm-hmm. Where's your self-control? Where's your self-discipline? Where did you learn this inside training at? Anything you practice, you will get stronger at. But if you just get an education or just information, education is linked to information. Mm-hmm. If you just reading to get more knowledge and more knowledge, You just cramming information, but you're still not using your mind the way that it was meant to be used. Because we see that we're not properly prepared. We're not equipped to do what we set out to do. So we look back at whoever it is that did the programming, and that's what some of us are afraid to do. We're afraid to reflect and recognize and understand that you're not responsible for the programming you received in your childhood. But at this point, you are 100% responsible for going back, making the adjustments, because you didn't choose what was put inside of you. So you have to first identify with what you learned. Second, which is a whole nother process. This is transformation, what I'm explaining now. Unlearn what you learn. That's the real process. No one teaches this process. Not at church, not at school, not at home. Unlearning the bad behavior. You don't choose your future. Your habits do. So now that you're seeing this, you have to unlearn unproductive things that you have taken in that's not getting you the results that you need. Then here's another transformation. Now you relearn, this time being self-aware, this time being present. So age doesn't matter about the knowledge and information. Age does not make you smart at all. Just like school don't make you smart at all. It's understanding your purpose, which is what gives you your protection. When you decide you're going to do this show, or when you decide that you're going to reach out and help someone, it has to be a purpose that backs your actions. That's the fuel to produce the results that you're looking for. We don't just do something just to be doing it. We do it with a purpose, and that purpose provides protection because I know why I'm doing it. And I'm looking for the results. But when you see that the results is not there and this thing just ain't gonna work, the person I'm dating is just not, they're not capable of maintaining a marriage. He don't have what it takes. Then I have to take an alternate route, and I have to identify that I won't be successful if I keep going down this road. So I have to try something different. Try to understand environments. Like since my fall in 2012, I have been to 26 different countries. So when I come, I don't go on vacation. My life ain't a vacation no more. My life is my life. And I recognize that when I become me, the world will pay me to be me. The world is looking for you. But if you looking for everything in the world, you will never find it, because your world is really locked inside of you. If you think about your creator and you understand the way the transformation of things take place. Remember, a tree that you see that produces fruit started off as a seed. A man started off, he put it inside of a boy. A woman was inside of a girl. So I learned to look at environments, and I see what environment. You see, your environments don't have to change, but you can change in the midst of your environment. And when you change, you bring on change to the environment, because now you see what you're trying to do, you're trying to do it in the wrong area. You know, you have to make sure that what you're doing stays organic. You don't need it has to be GMO. You don't need to modify anything. You have to make sure that now that you see what you're baking, you're going to take your time and you're going to practice, put into practice what you want, and stop going to ask people who never been where you're going for directions, because you don't need advocates and you don't need people around polluting what you're attempting to do. So you have to protect what? Self. But if you is that when you do an appraisal for a building, they got to come out and do an appraisal on how much the building is worth. They don't say, let me see your credit as well. No, they are appraising the building, not you. Right? You bought it at 200,000, it only worth 140,000. Well, why did the value go down? It went down because they shooting in your area, they breaking in houses in your area, you have abandoned buildings in your area. The environment that your property is sitting in doesn't have the values to support what your building is actually worth. Let's move over to another section. A car, you bought it at 20,000, drove off the lot, and after a year, hitting these potholes in Chicago or any other place, but ain't no potholes like Chicago potholes. Now you go to the car and they offer you 10,000. You say, well, where's my value going 1 year? It depreciated. So now you have to look at yourself now, and you have to recognize, where is your value at? I would rather you recognize that, look, I done lost it all. But now moving forward, I have another opportunity to have it all because I got my mind back. My mind is solid now. It's sound. I don't need to mess it up by listening to somebody else that's pretending. I got to be around people that can identify that I'm going somewhere and they going somewhere. So you got to look at the environments that you are around right now. I said earlier, we talking about culture, and you talked about as a minute ago about the holidays coming around. Is that not customs? Customs that who created? That we created, and we living in our mind based on the what? A feeling. We feel like we should have this. I feel like at this age I should be married. I should have a wife. I feel like everything is I feel like, but you thinking and thinking is totally different from knowledge. Thinking is using your mind, but sometimes it takes something that you can't control to make you use what it is that that you should have been using all the time. It takes a crisis in order to make you focus. It takes a problem in order for you to identify that you got to find an answer. Why not make yourself the problem and then finish the rest of this thing out working on the answers instead of trying to cover it up and spend your time looking outwardly in the mirror trying to make yourself up so you can look happy. How about we just stop pretending and we just work on the things that will actually make us happy?